Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you all are doing well. I'm your host Safa and you are listening to Crime Pod. Previously on this channel, we have covered the case of Noor Muqaddam. If you haven't stumbled upon that video, I have given a link in the description box of this video. Do check it out. Let's hop into today's video. They say that blood is thicker than water, but what happened when blood becomes water? And today's case is the perfect example of the question I posed before. Let's dive into the baffling case known as Amroha Massacre. Our story takes us to April 2008, Bawan, a village in Hasanpur Tehsil, 20 km away from Amroha in Muradabad, Uttar Pradesh. There, on a strip of 9 acres surrounded by mango trees, was a two-story house of Shaukat Ali. Shaukat Ali, aged 55, lived with his 50-year-old wife Hashmi Ali, two sons 35 years old Anis and 22 years old Rashid, and a 23-year-old daughter named Shabnam Ali. Anis Ali was married to 25 years old Anjum and had a 10-month-old son by the name of Farsh. Along with the family lived 14 years old Rabia, Shabnam's cousin. Shaukat Ali's family was not only one of the well-off and well-known families of the village, but also they were well educated. Shaukat Ali was called Master Ji and he taught arts in the Taharpur Intermediate College. His eldest son was an engineer working in Jalandhar, and his younger son Rashid was also studying B.Tech in Meerut. Shaukat Ali's second child Shabnam had a postgraduate degree in both English and Geography. She was also teaching in a primary school. The family of 8 were living their life happily, but something baffling happened on the night of 14th of April 2008 that not only shook the whole village but also the whole India. In the wee hours of April 15, 2008, the villagers of Bawan heard a woman's voice. The woman was crying for help, and when they began to look where that voice was coming from, they found that it was from the house of Shaukat Ali. The villagers reached the Ali's house and they saw 23-year-old Shabnam Ali in the balcony crying for help. The villagers tried to enter the house, but strangely the door was locked from the inside. They asked her to open the door, but she was hysterical and kept on repeating that they are going to kill me next. After some time, when the villagers assured her that she is safe and no one was going to hurt her, as they were there, she opened the front door for them. When the front door opened, the villagers instantly got into the house, but what awaited them inside still haunts them. Inside the house, they first found the lifeless body of Shaukat Ali, whose throat was axed. Then they started looking for other family members, but they were also killed in the same fashion. Police was informed and they immediately arrived at the scene and began their investigation. On crime scene, police found Shaukat Ali's slaughtered body. In the first room, they found the body of Rashid Ali, who was killed just like his father. In the next room, spattered with blood, police found the bodies of Anis and Anjum with their throats slit. And beside their bodies, they also found 10-month-old Arsh's body, who apparently was Joe's death. In the third room, police found the bodies of Hashmi Ali and 14-year-old Rabia. Both were killed in the same fashion just like others. All of the Shaukat family were found dead except the sole survivor, Shabnam Ali. Shabnam seemed to be on edge and told authorities about what had took place. She told police that on the night of April 14, the family had dinner and tea together. As it was summer, Shabnam and her father decided to sleep outside. Shabnam slept on terrace while her father slept in the courtyard. At around 2 a.m., she was roused by rain, so she decided to sleep in her room. When she reached downstairs, she found that her entire family had been brutally hacked down. Luckily, she was spared because she was upstairs sleeping at the terrace. She told police that maybe the dacoits got into the house by vaulting the wall, and then after robbery and killing everyone, they exited through the front door. After listening Shabnam, police officer R.P. Gupta, who was in charge of this case, became suspicious. There were so many things that were creating doubts. First, how the dacoits climbed 14-foot wall without using any ropes or ladder, and if they used any, where it was. The other thing police were suspicious of is that none of the victims showed any struggle as they were being held. Not one, not two, but the entire family was murdered and there were no signs of struggle. Shabnam told them that she slept on terrace that night, but there were no sheets or pillow found on terrace. In fact, the door to the terrace were also locked from the inside. From Shabnam, police found a cell phone and a SIM card which wasn't hers. From the crime scene, they also found empty teacups beside every dead body, and an empty tablet strip and Shabnam clothes drenched with blood. All of these items were sent for further examination. Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Mayawati also visited the scene on 16th of April and offered 5 lakh rupees to Shabnam Ali in compensation for the terrible tragedy. But still, police officer R.P. Gupta couldn't wrap his head around Shabnam's story. He asked CM Mayawati to wait for some days before transferring money to Shabnam. He sent the bodies for post-mortem and asked telecom company for CDR. And after 2 days, a shocking picture started to take form. In their autopsy report, forensic examiners mentioned that they found diazepam sedatives in 6 out of 7 bodies. This cleared the question that why none of the victims showed any kind of struggle to their assailant. In CDR report, police found a number to which Shabnam had made multiple calls. And even on the day of murders, between 7:30 p.m. on April 14 and 1 a.m. of the next day, she made 52 calls on that number. This showed that Shabnam wasn't asleep during the murders. They traced the number and it belonged to Saleem Pathan, a 21 years old from the same village. He was a primary school dropout and worked at a wood sawing unit near Shabnam's home. Saleem and Shabnam were lovers, but the family strongly disapproved that because Saleem was not as educated as their daughter. They believed in casteism and told Shabnam that Saleem belonged to Pathan community, whereas Shabnam's family was Safi Muslims and their relationship wouldn't work out. Now police knew who was their main suspect. They arrested both Shabnam and Saleem, but unfortunately Shabnam fell sick, either because of trauma or because of guilt. We are not sure. Police ordered a doctor to conduct a thorough checkup so that Shabnam would be clear for interrogation. But the medical reports revealed something more shocking. Shabnam was 7 weeks pregnant and now the motive of this massacre became clear to police. After 48 hours, they were brought for interrogation, where both spilled the beans. They told police everything about what had transpired on that night. Their family's disapproval led them to execute this heinous plan. She gave tea laced with sedatives to her entire family, and when they fall asleep, she called Saleem. Saleem slit throats with an axe, while Shabnam held their heads through hair. She then changed her clothes, closed the front door, went to the balcony, and set the scene, where she gathered the whole village. There is a question that if their family were opposed to their marriage, they could simply have eloped. But Shabnam knew that Saleem was not educated enough to provide better life to her. So in order to secure her future and her family's estate, she did what she did. Saleem himself recovered the axe and handed it over to the police. He also told police that he wasn't in favor of killing that child. But after they killed all of them, the boy started to wail. And to stop him from doing so, Shabnam told him. After their arrest, both Shabnam and Saleem were sent to Moradabad jail, but later Saleem was shifted to Agra Central Jail. In December of 2008, Shabnam gave birth to a child in prison named Taj. 15th of July 2010, the Session Court of Moradabad gave death sentences to both of them. The judge S.A.A. Hussaini described the crime as rarest of rare. In May of 2015, a Supreme Court bench headed by then Chief Justice of India H.L. Dattu and Justice S.A. Bobde and Arun Mishra upheld the death sentences. Interestingly, the star-crossed couple turned against each other. Shabnam said that it was Saleem who murdered the entire family while she was asleep, and Saleem said that Shabnam called him on that night after killing her entire kin. In September of 2015, then Uttar Pradesh Governor Ram Naik rejected Shabnam's plea for mercy, which she had sought on the ground of her responsibilities towards her son Muhammad Taj. According to Indian law, a child born in prison should be sent to child care or hospital if no other family member would take the responsibility. As Shabnam's plea got rejected, her son Taj was adopted by her college friend Usman Safi. I knew Shabnam from my college days. She was my senior in college. Those days, she came across as someone very helpful, someone who never looked like capable of the gruesome crime that followed. Shabnam also filed mercy petition to the president, but in August of 2016, then President Pranab Mukherjee rejected her mercy petition. In January of 2020, a Supreme Court bench again upheld their death sentence. As Shabnam exhausted all of her mercy pleas, she is waiting for her death warrant. But according to Shabnam's lawyer, she can file a curative review petition to delay the sentence. Pawan Jalad, who carried out the hanging of the four accused in Nirbhaya's case, will be executing Shabnam and Saleem in Mathura jail. He has been asked to inspect the jail for the hanging and he is ready for the job, even though the date for the hanging hasn't been set yet. Shabnam's aunt and uncle are happy with the court verdict. Her uncle said, "We were not at home when the carnage took place. When we went there in the morning, there was blood all around and the bodies were cut up. The crime was unpardonable." He even said that he is not going to accept her body after her death. Shabnam, aged 40, is presently lodged in Rampur district jail, while Saleem, aged 38, is in Agra prison. The property for which Shabnam had done all this is now in the possession of her uncle Sattar Ali. Born out of wedlock, Shabnam's son Taj can't claim for the property. Usman Safi, who adopted Taj, said, "The property ought to be given away in charity. Nothing good can come out of it." This is all about the case of first woman said to be executed in independent India. An unusual love story laced with lust and greed, which culminated in an entire family being wiped out by their own flesh and blood. This was the story of Shabnam Ali. I hope you liked the case study with me. Before wrapping up this video, I would like to request you all kindly subscribe this channel, as your subscription motivates me to bring new and improved content in the future. Thanks all who stayed with me till the end of this video. Like, share and subscribe. This is Safa signing off with Crime Pod.